Hey guys, Matt here again with my second video of the day. A few minutes after I did Elton John, I got a wild hair up my rear end to do Caravan, another prog band. I was going to do Camel. For some reason, I thought, nah, I'm feeling Caravan right now. Because I haven't done a Canterbury band yet, and I'm a big Canterbury prog guy. I tried to order a shirt once that said Canterbury Prog, and it didn't come for months. And then I had to contact the company and to get them to refund my money. And anyways, I'd be proudly wearing that right now. Okay, so Caravan. Caravan were a band from England, from the Canterbury region. I should talk about that for a second, shouldn't I? Canterbury Prog is a kind of, I don't know what adjectives to use, kind of a whimsical little subsect of prog in the 60s, 70s, 70s mostly, of course. That's the prog era. Consisting of, it took me a while to get my head around this. You don't have to be from Canterbury to be considered Canterbury Prog. You got Caravan, you got Soft Machine, you've got Gong. You have bands that Steve Hillage played in. Steve Hillage wasn't from Canterbury. All the guys in Gong weren't from Canterbury. It's like, I think that the band that was the group for this collective of musicians who kind of all played together was the Wildflowers. Did I get that right? God, I really should have researched this. I'm just going my way. See, that's the challenge of doing these videos. I don't look things up. I'm trying to see what I can just sum it up from my back of my head. And I get things wrong sometimes. But anyways, the Wildflowers, I'm not sure if they even got a chance to ever release anything, but that band had people in Caravan, in Soft Machine. I can't remember what the Gong connection was. Anyway, you can get their material on CD that they recorded, but I don't know if it was released at the time. Anyways, again, leave some comments. You guys are so lazy about leaving comments. Instruct me, educate me. But anyways, talking about Caravan. Caravan started in the late 60s. I don't even know if they're still active. Pi Hastings was the Robert Fripp of that band. It basically became Pi and whoever he could get to play with him. But their glory years were through the first half of the 70s and then kind of went downhill. I mean, I'm going to go through 1980 on this video for the album, which I don't think is good. But I'll tell you what I'm using. This really good box set, Who Do We Think We Are, which came out a few years back and has more Caravan than you need. I have not even played every disc. There's lots of live material. I just pulled out the ones I'm going to be using today. I'm not going to show you all the paraphernalia and ephemera which comes with the box set, because like I always tell you guys, I don't do unboxing videos. These are the discs I'm going to use. So let's begin. All right, so the first one's Caravan. Came out, I don't remember, 68 or 69. Yeah, I see the date right there, but I want to say 69. But this is a fairly strong record. It's definitely, got its foot. It's probably mostly a psychedelic album, but it's got its foot in the emerging, prog of the day. I've got this place of my own. That's my favorite Caravan song, I think. That's on here, but I like the whole thing. I noticed that, in doing the Elton John video previously, that my eyes struggle to read the song titles on these discs, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to give you my overall impressions of the albums, because prog is an album genre. So anyways, Caravan, if you've never heard it, 69. Why did I think this was 68? I wonder if it was released in 60. Anyways, fairly strong, but not really prog as we know it. These are kind of like pop psych numbers with one foot in the emerging prog. How's that to describe that? What I think much better is if I could do it all over again, I'd do it all over you. This is a strong one. This is 1970. This could be my second favorite Caravan album, with Grey and Pink being my first, but it's either this one or for Girls Who Go Plump in the Night. I might give the edge to this one. I have a friend who's also a big Caravan fanatic, and he goes for Girls Who Go Plump in the Night as being, actually I think that's his favorite Caravan album, so that might be influencing me, but I'm going to say, just to pick a stance right now, this is my second favorite one. I like everything on here. This is Prog. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bonus cuts. I like everything on here. So, again, I won't go over song titles, but you can see them. And even I can see them. This is really when Prog was interesting to me. After the big burst of in the Court of the Crimson King in '69, which I think is easily the greatest Prog album of that year. I don't know what the greatest Prog album of 1970 would be. It might be, in my estimation, since I'm just telling you my favorites, it might be Soft Machine's third. I think I might enjoy that more than any. But see, this album is really strong too. So is the first ELP record. So is the first Gentle Giant album, guys. I mean, when I've done my first 100 of these videos, just concentrating on bands mostly and some artists, then I'll start to combine stuff like that, like top albums of 1973, top prog albums of 75, top metal albums of 1980, whatever it's 6, but I want to get all my favorites out of the way first, or at least 100 of them. It just seems like a nice round number. I think this is my 50-something video right now. And then I'll start to combine genres and years and stuff like that. Give you lists of my favorites. Anyway, this is a strong album. If I could do it all over again, we'll just condense the title down to that. I like it a lot, but this is my favorite. In the Land of the Grey and Pink. Look at that kind of weird Tolkien-esque cover. This is a total jamming album. I love Dave Sinclair's his keys on this record. This is the Blu-ray, which I love. The surround sound mix, which comes in the box set, but you can also get it separately. I will go over these songs since I love them all. Can I read them though? Golf Girl is like a little kind of pop song. Winter Wine is wonderful. Love to Love You and Tonight's Pigs Will Fly. Everything on here is brilliant. In the Land of the Grey and Pink. And then, that's one of the best songs on the album. And then the whole 6 Feet Underground thing, which just goes on for 20-something minutes, and it's mostly a showcase for Dave Sinclair's organ. Richard Sinclair is also on here. This is not really a Pye Hastings album, or at least the highlights, I don't think, are necessarily Pye songs, which is weird because he is like the center of so many of these records. But anyway, this is a 5-star classic to me. It was the first Caravan album I ever heard or owned, and it has, nothing has ever quite taken its place. Okay. Also really good is Waterloo Lily. Waterloo Lily was a prostitute, I think. I guess that's her, Very strong, 1972. I don't think Dave Sinclair is on this record, right? I think he came back for Pump in the Night. But it gets kind of overlooked, I think, when you think of classic Caravan albums. But to me, it is one. I mean, in '72, that was a really great year for Prog. You had Thick as a Brick. You had Close to the Edge. I think nothing is going to take the place of those two records that year. You had stuff like this, though, in Trilogy. King Crimson released a So-So live album that year. But anyways, Waterloo Lily, really good record. Pick it up if you haven't. Well, and here's my friend Paul's favorite one, For Girls Who Go Plump in the Night. Getting pregnant, right? Dave's back on this one. Very strong songs. you know, they have like multi-named songs, you know, like they'll have like the name of the song and they'll have like another name for it because they're combining songs together on one track. That is something that they do on almost all these records. Strong album. Again, they were one of the great prog bands, kind of unheralded prog bands, because this is a prog band, as an American, I never heard this stuff on the radio. Growing up, I don't know if they played this stuff on radio stations in England or not, but you know, you had to be hip to a band like this. And of course, if prog is a four-letter word to many people, so a lot of people would hear this and say, well, who wants to hear that on the radio? Me. I would have loved it. Okay, Caravan and the New Symphonia is 74. It's a pretty good live album. All right? It's pretty good. But what I'm going to recommend to you, even more so, is this. Live at the Fairfield Halls in 74. This did not come out at the time. Some of this was released in 1980, but now this is the way you want to hear it. This is a double CD? No, it's just a single CD. 8 tracks. This is good. This is better. All right? Both 74. They were really phenomenal live. And this box set gives you lots. I mean, I'm looking at one right now from 72. This box set gives you lots of live Caravan from the 70s and, you know, more recently. So it's a potpourri of riches. I haven't even gotten through it yet. I've had this box for years now. All right. So, okay, that takes care of Caravan Live for the years in question here. This is Cunning Stunts from 75. Cool LP cover. Was that Hypnosis maybe? I don't remember. This is a solid record. It's not quite as good as any of the previous studio albums from the 70s before it, but it's still good enough. You know, in 75, this is still good enough. It's strong, if not, you know, brilliant, and almost as good as Cunning Stunts is Blind Dog at St. Dunstan's from 76. All right? This is the last one I'm going to say I can get behind as being pretty good. All right? Not quite as good as Cunning Stunts, but certainly, you know, good enough to own, good enough to listen to. After that, unfortunately, they go downhill. All right? Now, we can talk a lot about just the nature of progressive rock music in the 70s and how, you know, people think, oh, punk blew that stuff out of the water. I don't know about that. I mean, people were still buying Genesis records and Yes records in 77 and 78. I think a lot of bands had just kind of already peaked by then. King Crimson was even making music in the late 70s. ELP had gone downhill when they came back with those Works albums because they took too much time off. Gentle Giant had never sold records, so they're a band I'm going to do a video of too. And so they had decided to try to take a more commercial route in the late 70s to sell records. I mean, so Caravan in 77, they had done an album every year at that point, right? Better by far. I don't think this is that good. In fact, all of the CDs I'm gonna be showing you in this video, this is my least favorite one. This is bad enough to have made me stop buying Caravan records. I wasn't buying them at the time anyway. I didn't discover Caravan until decades later, the 90s, I think. But if I was buying them at the time, I think this would have been enough. So they wisely did not do an album in 78, 79, came back with the album in 1980. This is a bit better, but unfortunately not good enough to, you know, really warrant me extending this video. All right. Camel, to pick a better, you know, example, was a band who was making better albums than this in the early 80s. Nude, for instance, in 81. So I'm going to stop here, but I'm going to say Caravan are still one of my favorite prog bands. This is my, I don't remember now, 7th, 8th. I'll count them. In the description, I'll have the number, you know, prog video. You guys love you some prog videos. Yes, My video on Yes is the most viewed video I've ever done. But then other videos like on Floyd or, you know, Tull or Rush, no one hardly even watched the Rush video. So it's hard to tell what you guys like. But, you know, I'm more or less kind of picking them off one by one in terms of who my favorite prog bands are. I don't know that I mean, I probably like Camel as much as I like Caravan, but I was feeling Caravan today. I'll probably do Camel next. Or maybe I'll do Gentle Giant. You know, I don't know. So anyways, this is my first Canterbury video. If I'm going to do more Canterbury, I got to get Soft Machine out the way because they're a major group in my estimation. So anyways, this is a short video. Matt signing off.